Hi, and welcome back to Novel Knacks. Since my last video, I've finished framing in the north wall of the bathroom, allowing room for a pocket door. So I had to put a double wide opening for that, as well as the opening for the 3-foot medicine cabinet. So next, I was moving on to finishing up the lowered floor. And I realized that the order of operations for what I'm doing is pretty critical, and I forgot a step. So you see here where the floor is lowered inside the bathroom, but outside the bathroom it's still the normal height for the hardwood floor. So I wanted the tile to go all the way underneath the center of each door, but I hadn't really remembered that the pocket door was actually going to be a little bit outside of the bathroom. So I was going to have to cut the existing subfloor, open it up, put in blocking, and put in new subfloor. It was much easier on this side where I just had to trim out a small piece that was sitting on top of the joist. That was just a matter of cutting that little bit and pulling it out. But over here, I had to cut some blocks and then put in the other piece. So to lower the floor where the doorway was, I cut open the existing subfloor, and I previously had put in some these sistered in joists on top of the existing 2x6 joists to bring up the flooring just below where the joists were, so that when I put in the flooring it'd be at the same height as the joist. So I need to extend this out on both sides. Luckily I can just put up blocking. I can take a 2x4, rip it down, and now when it fits in here I can slide the flooring in so that it's right, the top of the flooring is right at the top of the height of the joist. I did that on the west side, cut a block for that. East side, cut a block for that. And then I figured I could just cut out the piece that went in here. Now, over here, it was easy because I could just put in the blocks, slip the piece in, pull it back, screw it down, and I was done. So I could have removed the jack studs, fixed the floor, put the jack studs back, but that seemed like a lot of work. I could have cut more of the subfloor out so that I had a bigger opening to slide in a new piece under the jack studs, but I really didn't want to cut up any more of the existing flooring that I had in place, so I decided to just put the blocks in, cut a small piece, and then try to fix it in. But seems to be a problem here. Trying to fit a piece that's supposed to go big enough under these jack studs, it's not going to fix. So we're the same order of operations, making sure you do the right job in the right order, where I should have done this flooring before I ever started working on this stud floor, is kind of biting me again. But at least there's something I can do for now. I can wait to install these blocks. I can trim off a corner of this piece where it sits on top of the supporting piece. And now it fits in there. And I just have to pull it back in place when I'm done. So now if I push it out of the way, under the floor, inside the floor cavity, and top the insulation, put in the west block that I cut, put in the east block that I cut. Now I can put in 2 nails there, 2 nails there, and then put that back in place. And I will have lowered the subfloor. So I'm going to push this back, and I'm gonna put it in place. Okay, now that I've told you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you me doing it. So I'm gonna first, now that I have the subfloor tucked up in underneath that I'm gonna pull into place, I'm gonna put in the first block and put in a spacer so that need to get that out of the way, but where I can still reach it. So now, put in a spacer to make sure that when I'm nailing this block, it's exactly the thickness of this board and I can still slide it through. So, use the pneumatic palm nailer. It's handy for getting into tight places. And I'm going to nail one high and one low, and hopefully that'll keep this small board from splitting. So now I should be able to pull that into place. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll put in the spacer, make sure that everything is going to line up. Put in a second nail at a diagonal so I don't split this little block. Got one high and one low. So now that I have the blocks in place, and the blocks will carry the load from the jack studs through the subfloor, through these blocks, and into the joists down below, so that I have everything being carried down into the structure for support. And now that I have that in place, I can slide this in. And I just need to tighten it up. I get it within our 1/8 inch gap, and now it's supported on both sides. It's supported in the middle because of the tongue and groove. I can pull out my persuader, smooth it off, and I just need to put in a couple of screws. So now that I've attached the supports on either side of this small piece of subfloor that the mortar bed will go for the tile, I just need to attach it. So in the rest of the floor, I've been screwing everything down. 2-inch deck screws. Do the same here so that it stays put. And on this side, I can't really get screws into the board, but sometimes you just need to get out better tools. So in that case, I resort to the framing nailer, and I will do a toenail at a 45 through the jack stud, through the first layer subfloor, through the second layer subfloor, and there should be enough that then it's down into the support underneath. So we've now installed section 38. It's a small section, but it's one step closer to the project being done. And now the tiler can come in, put in his mortar bed. He can have it below the level of the rest of the floor. And we can have the hardwood and the tile be exactly the same height. And we can have enough height to the tile to be able to slope it towards the center floor drain in the bathroom for the zero threshold shower. So if you like this content, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you want to be notified when I come out with more of these videos. And thanks again.